What, dude?
There's something wrong with your bike.
What?
Look, it has a big hole in it.
Where? What the heck? Those are my new pedals, dude. So these are the Outlier pedals. I'm sure you've seen them if you're interested in odd bike parts. The long anticipated, highly debated. Hopefully they're not a gimmick, but I saw these on the Lone Ranger's channel and had to get them. They made sense to me. Let's just take them out. This is the box. This is how they came. Wrapped in some foam right here. Check that out. There's the top. There's the bottom. They're a pendulum pedal. So they're self-leveling. They got huge bearings on them. They drop down 17 millimeters from the center. Like I said, they're one-sided. They got some gnarly little foot pins. This would be your left side pedal because of the shape. The right side is complete opposite of this. But look at that craftsmanship. I don't know if you can see that from there, but these things are beautiful. Just by the looks alone, I would give them a 10 on quality and craftsmanship. Huge bearings inside, self-leveling, like I said. Let me show you the bearings inside here. So these axles just slide out. And there's your bearings in there. They look like a very high quality skateboard bearing, and they are replaceable, sealed. Huge bearings. That's one problem I've had in the past with other pedals, but there's your little pendulum or your axle that they ride on. Very heavy duty. They got a nice little O-ring on there on the threads. Just the craftsmanship. These things are beautiful. These basically just drop in like this. There's a spacer in there. And then on the back side, they have this little plate, little spacer. Slides on just like that. Makes a nice seal right there to keep dirt and moisture out. I'm not sure about moisture, but definitely dirt. And just a nice dust cover. Sealed bearings, like I said. So I got a list here. These things, like I said, I saw them on the Lone Ranger. They made sense to me, and I'm just going to basically read off the list. But before that, let me show you the other one. Basically the same thing. So a little piece of cardboard to separate them. This would be your right pedal. So there's your right and your left. One-sided pedals. I'm going to show you why they're shaped like this. Try to explain to you the best I can what their purpose is. Also in the box they came with 4 extra pins, and like I said, they're one-sided, so that right there is an advantage. No pins on the bottom, so you're not going to be hitting pins on rocks or roots. That shape, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to explain all of this and why it makes sense to me. It's got a lower center of gravity. With this center, it's dropped 17 millimeters. When I heard the description of these, I was like, you know what? These are like stirrups. Stirrups are, you know, one-sided. Your boot sits on here. But these things, your foot is always going to be pushing down below the center of this axle. So you're going to have more stability. These cradle your foot because of the shape. This would be the top, the front of the pedal. It's got a wider diameter on the top, so it fits your shoe better. Now let me show you what it looks like when you put your mountain bike shoe on it and the profile. Okay, so I wear Adidas 510 Freerider Pros. Love these shoes. Super tacky, super grippy. And you can see by my sole, that's where my pedal sits typically. And because of the shape of this pedal, let me demonstrate that, how these shoes are gonna ride. So basically like that. Or more something like this. So you can see that the fat part of your shoe up here follows the fat part of your toe side onto the pedal. It just has a nice, good, stable platform. That's the idea, at least. I have yet to try these. That makes sense to me. So this would be your left foot. That would be your right foot on the pedal. And you can see by the shape of the shoe and the shape of the pedal, it just makes sense the way that your shoe fits on these pedals, that profile, that platform. So once again, the dropped profile of these pedals, your foot is going to sit down below the center of the axle. So instead of being up here, so that's how the shoe is going to sit with this dropped profile of this pedal. So you're more like sitting into the bike, sitting into the pedal. At least that's the idea. Okay, some of the concerns on the first video that I saw these on were that they're opened in the middle. And that's just going to be, you know, trouble, you know, stuff coming through your pedal or actually your foot going through the pedal. But look at this. I wear a size 13, so that's definitely not going to happen with my shoe size. But I guess there is a minimum size shoe for these pedals, but I wear size 13, so definitely not an issue for me. I guess that's one of the concerns people brought up. If you spin a regular pedal on your cranks, you know, it can end up here. It's not always going to end up flat where it's supposed to be, like where you're supposed to have your foot for riding. Say you come out of your pedal, hit a bump, your pedal spins on a normal pedal and it ends up like this. You go to put your foot back down, but these being self-leveling, most of the time, they're going to end up back like this, where they're supposed to be. All right, so on a conventional pedal, say you come up, hit a bump, you come out of your pedal, where's it going to end up? Sometimes like that. And then you go to put your foot back down, bam, you know, it's gonna mess you up. These pedals are awesome, by the way. These are what I'm gonna remove. These are E13 platform pedals. Great pedals, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna try out those Outlier pedals just because, you know, they make sense to me, complete sense. So another thing, being a one-sided pedal, you can see all these rocks I've hit. You see all my pins. This one, look at that one, totally tweaked. This side, not so bad, but you can see I've replaced some pins here. So having a one-sided pedal, you're not going to be hitting the bottom side of your pedal and chingering up all your little pegs. All right, yeah, that's the whole idea of the self-leveling pedal. Most of the time, it's going to end up flat. These pedals, you never know. Why take a chance, right? So another concern was, are you going to need to adjust your seat for that little 17 millimeter drop? You might have to adjust your seat down a little bit, but you know, that is a concern that was mentioned in other videos. All right, I've already explained the bottom with no pins and the shape of that bottom. You can see how it tapers in really thin on the end. Hopefully you're going to avoid rock strikes just because of the shape of that. Plus you don't have the pins sticking down. All right, so here's my invoice right here. I don't know if you can read that. The order invoice number, I was 00407. I placed the order November 27th, 2024. I got these April 28th, so about 5 months it took to get these. It took a while. I don't know if they're handmade or what, or I'm sure it's just a small little shop, mom and pop. They're not mass producing these things, which is totally cool. I like to support small businesses, and you know, these things are totally different. Do I think they're a gimmick? No, I don't. From, you know, the explanation and the way they should function, I'll know after a ride, definitely, but I do not think they're a gimmick. I think they're, I don't know if they're a game changer. I don't know yet, but I got this cool little note on here. Thanks for being an early adopter. I think it says Brooke, the Outlier team. Cool, cool. It's a little personal service right there. That's always cool. All right, enough talking about them. Let's install them on my, I believe I'm going to install them on my e-bike. I was like, which bike should I put them on? But I believe I'm going to do the e-bike. And if I like those Outliers enough, I don't know. I might order another set. Right now, okay, let's put the bike in the stand and get these pedals changed. Okay, got the left pedal right here. You can tell by the profile, this will be your left side. Larger portion of the pedal sticking out. And don't ever Loctite your pedals on. I use Never Seas. You can use grease, but this stuff, I work in energy, and we use this on heavy mechanical, heavy duty stuff. So these are good for the pedals. Put these on the threads. You can use something like, this is Von Traeger waterproof grease for bicycles. Put those on the threads. Don't ever use Loctite, or you'll never get pedals off, because pedals are self-tightening. And while I have these right here, check this out. Here's the size difference in those pedals. I mean, look at that. These are pretty big pedals, actually. These platform pedals right here by E13. They're pretty big. A little bit longer than your typical pedal. But these are about the same length, but the width, these have a little bit wider profile. Let me try this left side since it has the threads on this side. Kind of do a comparison overlay. Something like that. So total different profile. You can see the difference right there. How this one's dropped down from the center. compared to the platform pedal. So if I was to bring this down 17 millimeters, I guess that's what you're looking at right there. Okay, here we go. Start the threads. And while I'm down here, so this little cover right here, you can see it's a little bit offset, that washer, that spacer. So it gives you a little bit more clearance right there. And that goes on that way. There we go. These pedals also come in black. I just got the aluminum finish. I like that a little better. I'll tighten them down pretty good once I get the bike back on the ground. So check that out. They'll always end up in that upright position. That's the whole idea. What do you think? Are you a believer? Are you a skeptic? Is it a gimmick? Pretty crazy design. Made sense to me. That's why I'm trying them. I thought it would be cool to bring to my channel. Something different. All right, let's put the other side on. All right, here's your right-sided pedal. That profile. Big toe side out. A little bit of never sees on the threads. Little dab right there. Okay, so this is your right side. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's the left side that's opposite. I might have said it backwards before, but yeah, pedals are pretty much self-tightening. So right side, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Left side, lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. Okay, and there's the right side. All right, they sure are strange looking. That's for dang sure. I wouldn't say they look cool, but they definitely look different. It's just something different, you know. Got to get used to them. Pretty crazy. So that's it. Now all I have to do is take them for a ride. Let's see how that shoe fits on there. I'll take the right side. Shoe. If the shoe fits. Okay, let's see. So that's what it's going to look like on there. This thing has some bite to it. Those pegs or those spikes on your pedals. The bottom, once again, no pins to hit on rocks or anything to damage them. They got that tapered profile. You know, it's thick in the inside and thins out at the very end. So that's another plus. You don't even want to know how much these cost. But yeah, they're not cheap. Look them up yourself if you want to see the prices. I'm not going to say it on here because it'll turn a lot of people off, I'm sure. Especially my wife. Of course, I only paid 30 bucks, babe. Okay. Gotta take them for a ride. See if they are what they were designed to be. And I hope I like them. Now I'm thinking I should have got the black because of my bike. It's got mostly black parts on it. But you can get them in black or this raw color. The raw kind of shows off, though, the craftsmanship, the machine work on it, the CNC or whatever these were made on. I'm not exactly sure of the material, but I know it's like a high quality, I don't know if it's billet. I can ask them on their website. So they install just like a regular pedal, but do they act like a regular pedal? We're going to find out. So stay tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bring content. I try to do it weekly. Man, I can't get over the looks of these. Just walking by. Looks like something's missing. What the heck are these?